Woman cooks for her SIL every day, gets complaints about the meals being to Bourgeois. I have 28 make meals every day for me, and my husband am 31 to take to work. I enjoy adding my own personal flourish to the meals, usually something like pudding. Toppings in the shape of a heart or drawing. A cute face on a snack. It's a fun hobby of mine, and it brings me joy later in the day. To open my lunch and see it nicely arranged. A few years ago, my sister-in-law of 33 had to take a lower-paying job after an accident left her unable to work at her previous one. I began making her meals, like I did for my husband and myself, as I knew she was struggling both financially and emotionally. She lives very close to us, so my husband always just dropped them off on his commute to work. I always added my extra touch to her meals as well, as I enjoy cooking and figured it would be a nice thing to do. However, she called me a few months ago and asked if I could stop making her lunches so bourgeois. I legitimately thought she was joking, calling a heart-shaped piece of seaweed bourgeois. But according to her, none of her colleagues at work have such elaborate lunches, and it makes her feel as if she is flaunting her status. She is not paying me for the lunches, and it takes me an extra 10 minutes maximum to add a fun touch to them, so I was confused on her train of thought. I thought that maybe her co-workers were taking her lunch and she didn't want to tell me, but I agreed to make the lunches less fancy because I wanted her to feel comfortable. Since I make the exact same meals for all three of us, now I just don't put effort into the presentation of one of them. Since my husband drops off the lunch on his way to work, there has been one or two times where he has accidentally given her the wrong box. I have labeled which lunch is not flourished, but in the rush of the commute there is still the occasional instance of taking the wrong box. My sister-in-law asked me a few days ago if I could just stop making both me and my husband's lunches fancy due to the risk of her being given the wrong one. I refused, as it makes me happy to see the extra touch of personality in the food, and told her that she wouldn't die from one accidental fancy meal, which she was furious at and hung up on me. She has been refusing to talk to me over the past few days, and when I tried to call her to reason, she kept hanging up. She has told my husband that she will only talk to me if I agree to stop making all of our lunches so bourgeois. I am still making her lunches every day, and my husband dropping them off, and while my husband agrees with me that her demand was out of order, he has now said that maybe I should just make all the food less flourish just so that she will not be angry if there is an accidental swap of lunches. I know it would be easy on me to just not flourish the food, but I don't want to give up my hobby for a theoretical chance of her receiving the wrong box. A one-top for refusing. Edit. This is out of character behavior for my SIL. She is usually a very sweet and considerate person. She watches my daughter for free and has never been so reactionary about a lunch before. I'm unsure about completely stopping giving her lunches due to one issue when she is normally so kind. I will provide an update when I talk with her and my husband. While it might be easy to brush off the sister's demands as irrational nonsense, they might be just a result of a wider problem. Bear with me. We spend so much of our time at work and grant it so much of our mental capacity, so of course we want to feel like we belong and are well-liked. According to sociologist Tracy Brower, PhD, loneliness can affect us in many different ways. We might lack motivation to do things with others or to be active in our everyday tasks. We might struggle to feel engaged at work, feeling outside of the team or the project, or feel like we lack the energy to get our work done. We might lose the desire to learn new things, grow, or seek challenges, all of which are important to our happiness and our career advancement. We might experience a loss of hope for the future or a loss of vision for what will come next. Our performance may suffer because we aren't investing in today's responsibilities or taking initiative toward tomorrow's. Our relationships may suffer if we fail to follow through or deliver on commitments, or as we lose motivation to invest in relationships. So even if we aren't interested in having a work bestie, meaningful relationships with the people we earn our living with are still very important. And if the sister's lunches are being widely mocked even now that she's been working at the company for a few years, it might be because she's not fitting in on a broader level. Many of us should be able to relate to her. Research from Utah State University's John M. Huntsman School of Business indicates that 66% of employees experience some form of ostracism at work. In fact, their findings also show that of the respondents who said they had experienced some form of workplace ostracism, 68% also reported feeling burned out at home. Furthermore, 82% of their spouses reported that the worker engaged in family undermining at home, for example, acting in an unpleasant or angry manner when they come home from work, or taking out work frustrations on family members. What's more, 70% of those spouses indicated that they then felt burned out by family life. This means that it very well might be that the whole thing is being blown out of proportion as a result of a negative cycle initiated by the sister's co-workers. Poll question: should the woman continue making lunches for her sister-in-law despite the conflict? Yes, to maintain the relationship. No, she should stop immediately. Maybe, after a conversation to resolve underlying issues. Only if the sister-in-law apologizes.